The Death Corps of Krieg of the Astra Militarum is a regiment born from tragedy and hardship. Coming from a world of civil war, Krieg soldiers now fight relentlessly for the Emperor of Mankind. Hi there, and welcome to Dark Abyss Miniatures. I'm Simon, and today I'm going to show you how to get your Death Corps of Krieg looking awesome, quickly and efficiently, ready for the tabletop. After priming the miniature black, I'm going to focus on this guy's big overcoat that, along with their gas mask, is a huge part of their aesthetic. My aim is to get this done quickly because it takes up such a large part of the model, whilst also incorporating the textures I'd imagine a war-torn overcoat to show. Achieving this is a simple case of stippling the blue-black, which is actually a dark blue-grey colour onto the base coat with a damp dry brush. The Death Corps of Krieg hail from a devastated world, ravaged by decades of civil war. The once thriving planet is now a toxic industrial wasteland where survival means constant battle. The harsh environment and brutal history are etched into every soldier's appearance, with their weathered overcoats reflecting the grim, war-torn legacy of Krieg. Picking out the highlights, I further enhance this textured cloth look by dry brushing with a 50-50 mix of the two colours I've shown here. I'm going really light with this stage, and I'm being quite rough too. I want this to look like weathered cloth. They're from a death world filled with noxious chemicals after all. Moving on to the trousers, I'm going with dark warm grey, staying in these warm dirty grey colours to keep with the drab theme of these guys to help with the realistic and grungy feel. A bit of highlighting and his uniform is almost done. I'm not being too neat or too careful, just making sure I don't get this colour onto the jacket, but it doesn't matter if I get it elsewhere really because I can paint over it. I just needed to go back at this point and paint the cuffs of his jacket with the blue, black, grey, blue mix I used to dry brush the jacket with to help the cuffs stand out a little. I was a little more neat on this step. I painted all the leather parts, namely the boots, backpack, mask and gloves, as well as a couple of tiny decorative pieces of the model like the Achilla on the helmet that would later be pecked out in gold, and for this I used cuirass leather, a dark reddish brown. I was neater at this stage, being super careful not to get the brown on any of the clothing. It's not the end of the world if I do, but I don't want to fix mistakes and ruin that textured cloth look I've managed to achieve on his jacket. Now if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop a like on this video and subscribe to my channel as well. I aim to release videos on a weekly basis and look forward to seeing you here on the next one. Anyway, back to the task in hand. Something I really like to do when highlighting leather or anything I want to have a worn appearance is to do what I call shaky hand highlights. Imagine you have a shaky hand and you're trying to follow the line you're highlighting. Now if you're gifted with a shaky hand anyway, this part is even easier for you. This effect helps the leather look worn and scratched, and you can really go to town doing this in multiple steps with really bright highlights and desaturated browns and greys if you want to. It's khaki time now, and I'm using this colour to pick out the boot wraps and bedroll on his backpack, and also a bit more quick claw for you. Try saying that one quickly. The Death Corps of Krieg wear gas masks as a symbol of their world's toxic past and a necessity for survival. During their civil war, chemical warfare ravaged Krieg, and the mask became a constant reminder of their suffering and ongoing atonement. This is not only the most focal part of the miniature, but is also the most symbolic part of the Death Corps. So this is where you want to be super neat, take your time, and use a smaller than usual brush if you feel the need to. As you can see, I'm being really slow here. I don't like to speed up my footage because I think this helps give you a sense of the time and care needed when it comes to the small details like lenses and eyes. Black tidies up the gun and the helmet, and I'm being super careful here too, just with a larger brush. Then it's gunmetal for the gunmetal parts, making sure I don't forget the bayonet. I also painted the shoulder pads gunmetal. Gold touches nearly finishes these guys up. Known for their expertise in trench warfare and siege tactics, The Death Corps excel at attrition. They throw themselves into the most brutal battles, fighting on until nothing remains but victory or their own obliteration, which naturally means highlighting those scary eye lenses with a bright orange. One of my favourite parts, based with some sand and gravel mix from a local DIY store, glued on with some PVA. Now when it's dry, grab a dull brown, thin it nicely with water so it flows super easy, and paint the entire base top with this, as it will help sell the scene of a dirty, grimy battlefield that this guy just loves to be in, and seal the sand to the base. I pick out the larger stones to be rocks using a mid-tone grey, and then final step is to dry brush the base, both the rocks you picked out and the brown parts in a lighter grey. For the Emperor, we're done. Here's our finished guy. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.